We're live. It worked. Click the button. Hello, everyone. This is Aaron Roy from Teachable. I'm live with Nancy Badillo today. We're going to get started in just a few moments. These first few minutes of these workshops, we just want to make sure everything works technically before I hand the stage over to Nancy. So if you're joining us today, what we would love is if you could put in the comments, where are you joining us from? What do you look to learn today? As someone who tried having an Etsy store for like 10 minutes, I'm looking to learn more today, how I could better title my things. And, I think SEO is something we should all learn about in general because it kind of makes the whole internet go round. So I'm excited to learn those things. If you're joining us today, like I said, let us know in the chat. You could see us, you could hear us. We want to make sure everything works before we really get into this. And Nancy, can we just do a little tech test with you? Say hi.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for attending this workshop.
Cool. So we have a smidge of a delay. I just want to wait for some comments to roll in, letting me know that folks can see us and they can hear us. Nancy, I forget, where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Chicago right now.
Nice.
Yes.
We have like our first spring day in New York, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Yes, we did too. This week has been actually pretty good. And it's like our first spring weather type as well. So we're enjoying it as well.
Glad to hear it. So, okay, finally the comments are coming in. Just wanted to make sure folks could see us and hear us. We didn't want to kick things off. Also, hi, Alex from Denver. Thank you for letting us know. One thing for those who might join us late, one more technical housekeeping piece. If you join us late today, because I know this is a bit of an early session, have no fear. If there's anything that you watched and you want to, if we're in the middle of the session, there will be a replay available. So don't feel bad about hitting pause. And if you have to go do something at work and you want to watch us later, that's totally okay. We'll send a replay out if you've registered. Also, this link you're watching it on should have the replay as well. And lastly, before I kick it to you today, Nancy, if you have any questions today, one of the best parts of these workshops is this is a chance to actually ask questions to someone who's an expert or someone who has so much knowledge on this topic. So as you have questions today, feel free to put them in the chat. We will leave time at the end for Q&A with Nancy, and I would highly recommend using that to your advantage because this is a person who is truly an expert at what she does.
Well, thank you.
Nancy, with that, I think we can probably kick into this. If you want, I could bring your screen up. I'm going to pop backstage. And if you need anything at all, just say my name and I'll read it.
Sounds good, Aaron. Thank you. All right. So thank you, everyone, for attending this workshop. And we are going to be talking about how to optimize your Etsy shop and listings for SEO. So I'm going to be talking about SEO today. And I'm going to give you a lot of information, so just be aware of that from the beginning. For those of you that don't know me, hi, my name is Nancy, and I help Etsy sellers scale their Etsy shops by leveraging the power of branding, social media, and email marketing. I'm going to be your host for today's workshop. And during this workshop, you're going to learn the essentials of Etsy SEO, how to brainstorm ideas for tags, how to optimize your titles and tags for SEO, how to optimize your listing description for SEO, and how to boost your shop's SEO. So we're going to be covering quite a lot. Now, my promise to you is that I will deliver as much value as humanly possible in this free workshop. Nothing I will teach today is based on theory, and everything you would learn has already been tested and proven to work. In return, all I ask is that you keep an open mind about the new information you're going to learn today and that you take plenty of notes so you could begin to implement what you will learn today. So this is going to be an actual workshop where you're going to learn a lot of things that you can start applying right away. So I am a mom, I am a wife, and when I'm not helping people scale their Etsy business to the next level, I could probably be found playing around with my fun, energetic toddler. If you have a toddler, you know what I mean by that. And I wanted to start a little bit with my backstory. I won't take too much time with this. But I started selling on Etsy in 2016. And all I had was an idea when I first started. I have been in the digital marketing space for 11 years. And before Etsy, I had no prior experience creating any printables, which is ultimately what I ended up doing, handmade items, or using any graphic design software. In 2014, I got engaged to my amazing husband, Cornelius, and a friend of mine told me about Etsy. She was like, you need to check it out. They have a lot of handmade items for your wedding. And it was my first time hearing about Etsy in general. And I was curious to learn more about this e-commerce that she was raving about, e-commerce platform where you could buy, customized items. I've never heard of such thing. So I remember going to Etsy, typing it in on the search feed, and I found a lot of like do-it-yourself wedding invites, tons of beautiful stuff that showed up on the feed. And I was browsing through different stores, and I noticed that many of these shops were selling like art printables or do-it-yourself invite signs and matching items. And due to the fact that I was already an online marketer, I noticed that many of these shops were making a good living off passive income. So I ended up buying a do-it-yourself invite, a sitting chart, a couple of other signs from this beautiful store. I spent about $65 and had my files instantly. And I thought to myself, well, this person made $65 out of me and didn't really do any work because these were do-it-yourself items. Meaning, when you sell printables on Etsy, you create the file once, the customer buys from you, and then the customer edits the file, the customer sends it to the printer and gets it printed out themselves. So I thought that was really, really interesting. And as a digital marketing specialist, I was already trying to make different ways that I could make money online. So I decided to do a case study for my blog, and I started my own shop. Now, like I said in the beginning, I didn't have any experience with Etsy whatsoever. So I started selling quotes. And in my first month on Etsy, I made about $102 without having any experience with handmade items, not even having a creative eye. I didn't know what I was doing. I technically just grabbed Word document, put a quote on Word document, saved that file, uploaded it to Etsy, and sold it on Etsy. That's literally what I did. Black and white, just text quotes. Quotes from movies, quotes from songs, famous quotes, etc. So that's how I kind of got started with Etsy. And on my first 6 months of Etsy journey, I made a lot of mistakes. The biggest one was risking my store getting shut down because I was using quotes that were copyrighted. And I didn't really understand the licensing of fonts. I didn't understand how to sell something unique so I could stand out in a saturated market and make my product a no-brainer for the prospective buyer to choose my product over others. And I used copyrighted quotes that I saw everyone else use on Etsy. And I thought it was okay, right? Until I received several, not one or two. It was like, I believe it was like 5 or 6 infringement notices from Etsy. And that's when I started learning all about intellectual property. I decided to go a different route. After countless hours promoting outside of Etsy, I started all over again after spending so much time creating over 1,000 listings and building my social media platform for that particular audience. So you could just imagine this was my breaking point. I think for many people, they go through stuff like this as well when it comes to Etsy, whether you're just revamping your whole store because of Etsy SEO or because of your photos, or you're changing your niche, right? It happens to everyone, I believe. And around January 2017, I changed my strategy when it came to selling on Etsy. I decided to change to the wedding niche. I always had a passion for the wedding industry and thought it would be fun to create wedding printables. And by then I have gotten a little better of learning how to create them as well. So this time around, I made sure that this was a profitable niche market by validating my product ideas, seeing there was a market need for them, right? And making sure that I took it one step further by making unique products that no one else was making. So like I said earlier, making it a no-brainer for people to buy from me. And I also make sure that my listings were optimized for Etsy SEO and Google to increase my product visibility and take advantage of Etsy's building traffic. So when I did this and I focused on creating unique products, having my shop optimized for SEO, my income doubled every month after that. I was able to increase my prices from like $5 per print to $5 to $40. And it was a massive game changer for me. I was able to create a robust line of other products for wedding printables like seating charts, table numbers, thank you tags, etc. I also started selling personalized items. And all of this helped me make a little bit over 21,000 my first year. The second year, I was able to triple my income. I was able to open multiple stores, including a candle store as well. So at one point, I was selling digital products, and then I moved to digital products and physical products. So kind of wanted to give you a little background of my story. It wasn't overnight success for me, and I did make a lot of mistakes. But one thing that really helped me grow my store was because of my background on the digital marketing. I already knew how to use SEO. I already knew how to use social media to grow my presence. It was just a new platform that I had to learn, and learn how Etsy works and how their algorithm work. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So enough about me. And now that you have a little idea of my background, I wanted to go ahead and just jump right in and talk about different things that you need to know about not just Etsy SEO. That's why I didn't put Etsy SEO on the slide. It says understanding the essentials of SEO, because when you upload a listing on Etsy, it needs to be optimized not only for the building traffic on Etsy, but also for Google, because Etsy shows your product on both. They show up on Google and on Etsy. So you want to make sure that you have a higher conversion rate by optimizing your listings for both platforms, and that will bring you the most visibility. So that's what I'm going to be teaching you today. So let's talk about the essentials of SEO. So for those of you that are still kind of like learning SEO, what it stands for search engine optimization. And Etsy SEO is the process of improving the visibility of your shop and its products in search engines like Google, as well as within Etsy's own search function. It's a term you need to learn and get familiar with so you could take advantage of Etsy's building traffic and get your product seen on Google. And once you learn SEO, and you go to a different platform, it will be a lot easier to navigate as well. So in the future, if you decide I want to do a website, you will have to learn SEO, but it will be so much easier by then because you already know how it kind of works. It would just be different rules for your blog. So all you need to do is follow Etsy SEO's best practices and learn all about Etsy's internal ranking system to help improve the visibility of your shop and item listings in the search results for search engines like Google. So practicing Etsy SEO best practices and optimizing your shop the right way will help you improve which items appear and the order or placement in the search results. So let's go over SEO best practices that you need to apply to your shop to set it up for success. So make sure you have a pen and paper because we're going to cover a lot. So the first part is how to brainstorm idea for tags. So the first step to Etsy SEO is finding profitable tags for your products. You really need to think like a shopper. What would your ideal customer type in on the search results when searching for your products? So what I always tell my students or anyone that I give advice to is you need to brainstorm in a piece of paper 10 to 15 phrases that uniquely describe your product. So when you look at your product, if you sell an iPhone case, don't just say the word case, right? Because case could be pretty much, it's very generic. It could be anything. You want to make sure that you say iPhone case, or you want to make sure that you say phone case. You want to be very specific to what describes your product. And it's important to use all 13 tags. I see sometimes people use 7 or 8. Make sure you use all 13 because the more tags you use, the more you amplify your reach. You want to make sure you add some variety. Avoid repeated phrases. So don't repeat the same thing over and over and over. Think about what makes your product unique and how shoppers might search for those items. So I think the most important thing is think like a shopper. And when you're writing these keywords, this is just brainstorming. Write down the first thing that comes in your mind. Just write 10 to 15 keywords that describe whatever product you are about to list on Etsy. I also recommend using long tail keywords because they have less competition, they have better targeted traffic, and higher conversion rates. After all, these are more specific. So for long tail keywords that are longer than 20 characters, you will need to break down the tags by 2 tags or more. And make sure to add them in the order when adding your tags. So for example, let's say your target customer is looking for minimalist diamond engagement rings. That's a long tail keyword. It's really long. It's longer than 20 characters. So it is a very descriptive search, and it's a really good one. So when you're entering your keywords in your listing, you need to break them down into 2 tags. So the first tag will be minimalist diamond. The second tag would be engagement rings. So always keep that in mind. This is one of the most common questions I get when it comes to long tail keywords. It's too long. You just need to break them down into 2. And the phrases are more descriptive than breaking up the keyword into single words like minimalist or ring, but still contain all the terms that appear in your target customer search. So this is really crucial. You want to make sure that you're using keywords that accurately describe what you sell. And I personally prefer long tail keywords because if somebody types in, let's say they type in silver wedding ring, that's what they're looking for. If they type in ring, they might be in the process of shopping around, just looking around. But if somebody types in silver wedding ring, that's what they're looking for. They're being very specific. And those type of searches have higher conversion rate because if the customer comes across your listing and that's what you sell and they love your ring, they're going to buy. Versus somebody typed in ring, but maybe they were looking for a children's ring, but you only sell wedding rings. That's why you need to be very, very specific with your keywords. And I will talk a little bit more about conversions as well, but later on in this workshop, but you need to be very specific with the terms that you use. So to help you with brainstorming, this is a really good list here of things to always keep in mind. Use multiple word phrases. For example, custom necklace. You could use synonyms if you want. Use long tail keywords and stay away from generic or broad terms. So generic would be ring. That's very, ring will be more broad term. Ring could be any type of ring, right? Generic could be gift, right? You want to be very specific. Don't repeat tags. For example, we just talked about this. Octopus art print and animal wall decor will get those listings in front of more potential buyers than octopus art and octopus print. So don't repeat words. Amplify your reach by using a variety of different words. Don't repeat categories or attributes. This is a huge one. Categories and attributes act like tags, and I will talk about that later, but that's the reason why you don't want to repeat them, because you'll be wasting an opportunity to amplify your reach. Don't add multiple tags in different languages. The tags should be in the language you chose when setting up your shop. And don't worry about plural tags. When a shopper enters the query, Etsy looks at the root word for the phrase. They type in and match them to the root words your listing has for that specific keyword. So this is a really, really good list of things to always keep in mind when brainstorming your keywords. So now that we know, when you're doing keyword research, you want to brainstorm different ideas that accurately describe your product. Once you have those keywords, what I recommend is using, I didn't cover in this slide, but what I would recommend doing is using erank.com or Marmalade. Those are the 2 top platforms for keyword research. And what you want to do is go in there and see if the keywords that you came up with and validate, are people searching for those keywords? Does it have a monthly search volume? How much competition? And the numbers that I stick with is monthly search volume of at least 500, competition of 30,000 or less. Obviously, every niche works differently, but those numbers are the sweet spot that I have learned that works for many of my students, no matter what niche they're in. Because if you try to compete with a tag that has, like, let's say 300,000 other people using the same tag, it doesn't mean that you can't rank for them. It's just a lot harder. But if you use keywords that have a 500 monthly search volume with a competition of 30,000 or less, it's a lot easier for your listing to rank organically and get found on the first and second page. So that's the reason why I stick with those numbers. Now, once you have your keywords, the next step is optimizing your title and tags for SEO. This is really important. So the shop and tags are a crucial part of Etsy SEO. The title and tags are the contributing factors that Etsy takes into consideration when shoppers enter a search query. So when a shopper enters the search query, right, Etsy sorts through listing titles and tags, and for your listings to be relevant to that search query, it needs to match the title in the titles or tags. Keep that in mind. I see a lot of listings that the keywords that they have on the title don't match the tags. So to make this a little bit easier to remember, your title and tags should match. Whatever keywords you put in your title should also be on your tags. That's basically what I'm saying that Etsy recommends for you to do to optimize your listing the right way. So things to keep in mind when optimizing your tags: exact phrases. So using exact phrases that are matches are stronger than matches on individual words. This is another thing. So for example, a search for gold ring would return all items with the words gold and ring in the tags or titles. But items with gold ring in the tag or title, which matches, right, the exact phrase the customer searched for, will be considered a closer match. So if your tag matches exactly what the customer is looking for, your listings will rank higher in the search results. Another one is focus tags. So Etsy lets you use up to 140 characters in your title, but they put more weight on the first few words. So therefore, it's important to place your main tag in the beginning of your title to follow Etsy SEO best practices. Another thing is keyword stuffing title. Etsy has mentioned that shorter, easy readable titles are best for shoppers to be able to scan your listings and determine what you're selling. So include your main tag, include additional tags that you want to rank for in your title, but just keep your buyer in mind, right? Also make sure that your shop title becomes also know, excuse me, that your shop title becomes the page title for that particular listing. And that's a Google SEO factor. But whenever you're doing your titles, just always keep in mind the shopper as well. So you want to optimize it for Etsy SEO so you can rank for keywords, but you also want to make sure that it's user-friendly for the prospective buyer, that when they're reading the title, they're not getting confused on what they're buying. It has happened to me, and I understand why Etsy recommends that we don't do keyword stuffing. Now, you want to make sure your titles are readable, and you use descriptive keywords that describe what your listings are all about while still optimizing. This is what I just mentioned for SEO. I recommend using long tail keywords as your focus tag to have a great chance to rank, and try to focus on variations of long tail keywords and relevant keywords because they tend to convert better and rank better as well. So a really good title will be, for example, floral wedding invitation. So that's my long tail keyword with matching floral RSVP is a beautiful collection to announce your big day. Personalized wedding invites. So I still optimize it for Etsy SEO, but it's really easy for the customer to read and understand, right, what I did. I made it user-friendly and SEO searchable by writing a short, clear, and descriptive title. If my title read this way, this is considered keyword stuffing: floral wedding invite, do-yourself wedding invite, wedding invitation, printable, floral SPP. You see all that? That is considered keyword stuffing. And Google will classify this as keyword stuffing. Both Etsy and Google frown upon it because it's harder for shoppers to read and understand what you are selling. And you could also write out, if you want, titles into short sentences. So for example, stud pink clay earrings gift for her, modern jewelry texture earrings for her. So you're still putting a lot of keywords in there, but it's just a lot easier to read. That's the purpose of it, that you want to make sure that is user-friendly for the customer when they're maybe purchasing your listing. Now, this is better for two reasons. The prospective buyer will have no issue understanding what you're selling and not turn them off because you're using random jumble of keywords. And because Google loves natural sounding keyword sentences, and they won't feel as if you're trying to manipulate your rankings in Google search results. So just keep that in mind. I know Etsy tries to be very lenient when it comes to what Google wants, because they understand that they have these rules set in place and they want your shop to rank on Google as well. So best practices is use all 13 tags, do target long tail keywords, add some high rank broad keywords as well, as long as they're relevant to your product. Don't repeat tags, and don't keyword stuff your title. If you do this, your title and tags should be really great for you to have really good results, and not only on Etsy search feed, but also on Google. Now, the next step is, how do you optimize your listing description for SEO? Many people don't really know about this, or I don't hear a lot of people talk about this online, but this is based on what Etsy recommends. So the listing description obviously plays an important factor when converting views into actual sales. So keep in mind, a well-written listing description is going to help you reach prospective buyers, get found in the Etsy search feed, get found in Google, and build trustworthiness to help you close out the sale. So the first 160 characters of your listing description is used for your meta description. And this is a short snippet shown to anyone who finds your listings in Google search result. So you want to make sure, like I said in the beginning of this workshop, you want to optimize your listings not only for Etsy, but for Google. A lot of people forget to optimize it for Google. So the meta description needs to be optimized for SEO and shouldn't be ignored. So the meta description should focus on your focus tag. So the same tag that you use in your title, a short description of your product, follow with a call to action. This is going to help you increase your click-through rate and drive more traffic from Google to your listings. So for example, your meta description could be, view our stunning flower wedding invitation set. So I still have my main keyword there. Collection that will add an element of elegance to your wedding day. Click to shop now, or click to get yours today, or click to learn more, or grab yours. Anything that is going to entice the customer when they find your product on Google to click, right? Head over to your store, engage, and see if they want to buy from you or not. So I wrote a short, enticing description of the product. I included, like I mentioned, my keyword, and I followed it with a call to action, because ultimately, when you sell online, you have to tell the customer what type of action, right, you want them to take. So in this case would be, you want them to click on the link so they could go to your Etsy store. So make sure that you always optimize your listing description with your meta description, because that's the traffic that's coming from Google. Now, what should be included in your listing description? I thought I would include this in here. You need to include everything and anything about that listing. The main thing to keep in mind is to write a short and informative listing description while still managing to make it engaging, and include your tags as organically as possible within the listing description. So as a seller, this is your chance to communicate with your shop's personality through your products. And when you're writing your product description, focus on the value your products offer. What is the problem you're solving for them? And how does your product improve your buyer's life? And the reason why I included this in here is because when you're writing a listing description, you want to make sure that you're including everything and anything the customer needs to know about your products. You need to include sizes, dimensions, colors, what's included, how to order. If you sell digital products, how to download the file. If you sell physical products, shipping information. You need to add links to matching or similar items to increase your upsell opportunity of selling more things, refunds and returns, and anything else you could think of. So you want to make sure that you have all the information that they need to know, so they can make an informed decision of whether they want to buy from your store or not buy from your store. This is going to help you have a higher conversion rate, because not only do you have to optimize your listing for Etsy SEO, optimize your listing for Google, you need to make sure that you're being transparent and you're including everything the customer needs to know. That way, when they do find your listing, they click on it, they read the listing description, they feel more comfortable from buying from you. They feel that you are a trustworthy company, and they'll go ahead and proceed with the sale. Consider adding, like I mentioned, links to your description if you have matching items. The link will work as a hyperlink that takes them to a new page of your Etsy shop with matching items that they might like. This helps increase your views, engage with your brand longer, and help you with the chance of getting the prospective buyer to buy multiple items in your shop. And the listing description, like I said, should answer any potential questions a buyer might have. It should accurately describe your item. And don't forget to include your tags organically to help your listings rank for Google. So one of the things that Etsy says in their handbook is to include your tags, not only on your title and tag section, but also in your listing description. So it's important that your 13 keywords that you are using, that you sprinkle them in your actual listing description. This is only so you could get found on Google. It has nothing to do with Etsy SEO. It has to do with Google SEO. Because keep in mind, like I said in the beginning, we're optimizing our listing. So not only are you driving traffic from Etsy, but also from Google. And this is one of the parts that is for Google. You put in the keywords in your actual listing description so Google understands what your listing is all about. So make sure that you do that. This is one thing that I don't see too many people doing in their listings, and they're losing out on opportunities of getting found on Google. Now, the next thing is how to optimize your shop for SEO. So not only do you need to optimize your title, your listings, and your tags, you also need to optimize your store for SEO. This is another section of SEO that many people also don't know. Maybe they were never told, obviously, right? And it's important to do. So let's go over the different areas in your shop that can be optimized for SEO to increase your visibility and traffic. So the first one is categories. So there are 4 places that Etsy SEO looks for when they're trying to match your products to customers. So the first one was the title and tag. So those are 2 places there. The third one is category, and the fourth one is attribute. And I'll talk that in a few minutes as well. So categories, you need to make sure that you're adding specific categories that match or are relevant to your products. This is really important. This is when you create your listing, you're going to have the option to ask you what category it goes into. And when you add specific subcategories to your listings, your items are included in all the categories that subcategory is nested within. And it allows your products to match with a search, which equals more traffic. So always keep that in mind. You always want to make sure that you choose the right category as well, because if you put your products, if you don't know where to put your product and you just take a guess and you put it in the wrong category, it hinders your store as well. Because if you show your products to the wrong people or to the wrong audience and they're not interested in your product and they don't buy, it hurts your conversion rate, which means that it's going to affect your placement of your listings in the search results. So you want to make sure that your categories are relevant to whatever products you sell. The next place is the attributes that I just mentioned. So they work similar like categories, and they help the listings be found in the search results. So using attributes is just another way of optimizing your listing to the fullest potential to increase the likelihood of someone finding your products and services. So when people do searches on Etsy, they could type in a keyword of whatever they're looking for, and then there's a little filter section that they could choose attributes to do searches on Etsy for whatever they're searching for at that moment. So Etsy looks at, like I just mentioned, title and tags, category, and attributes. Those are the 4 spots that Etsy looks at to match your products to other people. So if you have an attribute, it says wedding. Let's say you picked an attribute as wedding and you have that as a tag, remove the tag and add a different tag, because attributes act like tags. So you don't want to repeat the same tag in the attribute section either. So just keep that in mind. You want to make sure every listing you're picking the right attributes, every listing you're picking the right category, and every listing you're putting your keywords in your title and tags for Etsy SEO. Now for Google, another best practice to boost your shop's SEO is by naming your shop sections. Every section has its own landing page with a page title that's pulled from the section name. So therefore, you need to describe each specific section briefly. Make sure to name your sections with keywords you want to rank for. It will help shoppers navigate your shop, but also get your products found in Google. So your shop sections is more for Google SEO. So you want to make sure that when you're doing keyword research, you find keywords that accurately describe what you're selling, but that you could rank for. You don't want to put a keyword there that's very competitive that you won't rank. You want to make sure that you're specifically using keywords you could rank for, that people will find you in Google, hopefully on the first page of Google, click, come back to your store and shop. So that's why this will give you a boost in your store by naming your shop sections the correct way with keywords that you could rank for. And then the last one, this one not too many people talk about, is inbound links. Another SEO best practice, and this is from Etsy's handbook directly, is having inbound links that point back to your shop. So inbound links are a form of off-page SEO factor where you earn links from other websites that direct readers to your Etsy shop. So the more inbound links that point towards your products, it helps the search engines know that people are interested in your content and you rank higher in the search results. This is why having your own personal blog or networking with other sites or getting like BuzzFeed to talk about you or doing podcasting and then people link your store to that podcast is really important, because if you get other people to feature your store and have those links pointing back, the more links you have pointing back, the higher you will rank on Google for whatever niche you're in, and you will outbeat your competitors. So having your own blog is really crucial, or getting yourself in other people's blogs. So keep that in mind. This is another factor that not too many people talk about, but if you want to scale your business to the next level, this is really crucial for your business. Now, I wanted to talk about also how Etsy's algorithm work. And this is really important as well, because not only do you have to understand how to find profitable tags, what type of tags to use, how to optimize your listings, how to optimize your store, you need to understand how Etsy works, the algorithm. And having a clear understanding of how Etsy works are vital for the success of your store. So while Etsy's algorithm is constantly changing as a seller, you control the most important factors in Etsy search placement. So I'm going to be covering how Etsy's algorithm works and things you need to implement for your listings to rank higher. So let's talk about them. The first one is the listing quality score. So to determine which items buyers are likely to purchase, the Etsy search algorithm takes in consideration how well individual items tend to do in the search. They should have said items. They call this the listing quality. So if people are clicking, favoring, and buying, then you will have a positive listing quality score. However, if your product is not getting any clicks, any favors, people are not buying, then you will have a negative listing quality score and most likely end up buried in the search results. So you really have to make sure that, when you upload a listing, if people are not engaging, it's going to be buried. This is why a lot of people are like, I can't find my listing. I can't see it on page 1 or 2 or 3. They're probably somewhere on page 10, right? No one's going to that page. So therefore, they're not getting sales. So I'm going to talk about different strategies that you can start implementing before you publish your new listing to make sure that you have the highest probability of someone finding your product in the search feed and buying from you. So the first one is you want to make sure you have amazing photos, drool-worthy images. According to Etsy, what influences shoppers to make a purchase is the quality of images. In fact, it's the most important factor in deciding to buy, even more important than the shipping costs, customer reviews, or even the price of the item itself. In 2018, so this was a while back, Etsy did a survey and 90% of buyers said they purchased because of the photo. So you have to have amazing photos. When you promote your listing, this is your listing here. and then you have all your competitors all around you. The objective of the photo is to make the person stop from scrolling, take notice of your product, and entice them to click to learn more about your product. So therefore, you have to have amazing photos, because a bad photo could prevent you from getting a sale no matter how amazing your product is. So just keep that in mind. Another one is offering free shipping. I know not everyone could do this. I wasn't able to do this back when I was doing my candles. According to Etsy, shoppers are 20% more likely to complete their purchase when the item is marked as free shipping. And as of July of 2019, items that are shipped free and show that guarantee free shipping to buyers in the US on orders of 35 or more will get priority placement in the US search results. So this is another way to get higher in the placement if you're able to offer free shipping. So maybe consider it, and Etsy will prioritize your placement higher in the search feed. Another one is your tags and titles, right? So making sure you're using tags that your ideal customer will use to search for your products. So again, stay away from generic or broad terms. Using long tail keywords that accurately describe your products. Another way is customer and market experience score. This is another one that many people don't know about. Etsy wants all buyers, right, to have a great experience when they purchase from a seller on Etsy. So therefore, all Etsy stores are given a customer and market experience scores, which factors into search placement, right? So these are some factors that impact your customer and market experience. You want to make sure that you have great reviews. You go out of your way for your customers. You want to have your shop policy and your About Me section completed. I can't tell you how many times I see stores that don't have those two items. And if you don't have those two items completed, you lose ranking in the search feed. So keep that in mind. You want to avoid, obviously, sometimes we can't help it if we get one open, but avoid open cases against you because they do count against your store. And you want to make sure that you avoid intellectual property infringement issues as well. So if you have a good customer market experience score, it will help your shop rank better in the search results. Now, new shops have a neutral score, which has no impact on placement. So keep that in mind. But the two that I see the most are shop policies and About Me section not filled out, and that will affect your placement. Now, the last one is recency. Etsy tries to keep search results fresh for frequent shoppers. So the Etsy algorithm reviews how recently an item was listed or relisted, right? And gives it a small boost and get your products to show to more people. So this is pretty much everything that you need to know about how to optimize your listings and shop for SEO and have a better understanding of how Etsy algorithm works. Now, please note that Etsy SEO should absolutely be a part of your marketing plan, but not the entirety of it, because you want to take advantage of Etsy SEO's building traffic. But ultimately, if you want to scale your business to the next level, you have to expand your digital footprint for sure. So the bottom line is you have a big opportunity to build a thriving Etsy business or scale your existing shop to the next level, but you won't make any money without a strategy in place. So keep that in mind. And I wanted to invite you to my actual Etsy mastery course, and I wanted to give you an overview of it. And you have two options. You could, take your time and waste more time, right? If you're still struggling with this and effort trying to figure out everything by yourself, or you could fast track your results with my step-by-step program, the Etsy Mastery Course. And enrollment obviously is now open for everyone. And I wanted to give you a quick bird's eye view of what you will learn each week in my program. And make sure to stick around all the way to the end for a huge bonus. So my Etsy Mastery course is broken down into 6 sections, 6 modules, excuse me. And what I teach you is not only how to start, manage, but how to grow an Etsy shop and take it to the next level. So module number 1 is your business foundation. So what products are popular, how to find a profitable niche. So I teach you all of this, how to find demand and validate your product ideas, how to do market research, what is trending, how to build a strong brand online, how to think big from the beginning and set up your account the right way, what you need to know about being safe with designs and licensing, fonts, etc. Module number 2 is clarifying your offer. So why you need to micro niche. I'm going to give you examples of Etsy shops with micro niches. I'm going to help you on writing a great niche statement to propel your business and show you different examples of successful niche companies as well. Module number 3 is how to build a memorable brand, how to become authority in your niche, right? How to brand your Etsy shop. We talk about a little bit more on the most important branding elements that you need, how to have a domain for your business, and how to provide excellent customer service. I go through so many different examples. Another fun thing about my Etsy Mastery course, that if you are selling, let's say you want to learn how to create printables and make money, passive income, I have a whole section of that as well. It's a bonus. If you don't want to learn how to create printables, this section you would just skip and you will go to the next section, which is Etsy SEO. And I go into details. I give you scripts, and I show you where to put your keywords, how to optimize it, how to do keyword research. I show you all the tools. I actually show you 6 different tools to find profitable keywords. So all of this and much more is covered. And module 6 is basically how to start, manage, and grow your shop. So how to list your listings on Etsy, how to price your handmade items, how I organize my digital assets, how to persuade buyers to buy from you, how to improve the layout of your store, how to start an email list. And I teach you 8 strategies to help you scale so you can have systems in place to help you get continuous sales on a regular basis. And I'm going to wrap this up a little bit quicker now, so we could have some time for Q&A. But I want to make sure that I let you guys know, with my course, you get an additional 8 courses included. You get a Pinterest course included because, like I said, you need to learn how to expand your digital footprint. So I teach you how to use Pinterest to explode your traffic. I teach you also, if you're interested in passive income, how to create 11 do-it-yourself digital products, how to use Instagram, how to use Instagram story. And I give you a whole year's worth of prompts in case you're like, well, I don't know what to put. I don't know how to get visibility. I don't know how to grow it. I don't know how to drive traffic back to Etsy. I teach you how to do so. How to turn your Facebook profile into sales funnel. How to create a successful Facebook fan page. How to create a successful Facebook group. I have grown groups up to 100,000. My Etsy group right now is 58,000. So I have learned a thing or two on how to grow Facebook groups to help you grow and get sales on a continuous basis to your Etsy business. And I give you an introduction to Facebook and Instagram ads. So you get all of this included. You get the course community where you will have access to me 24/7. You can ask me questions and you could network with other students that are also Etsy sellers. And the regular price is $597. This is what I normally charge. Because you're attending this workshop, you get it only for $99 this one time. But I'm going to take it to Erin in case we have anyone out there that has any questions for me, and I'll be more than happy to help out or answer any questions.
Well, Nancy, thank you so much. And, you covered a ton in this workshop, and I tried to grab some of the links you're talking about, like eRank, and put them in the chat.
Okay.
And we'll get to questions in just a second. For anyone who is interested in checking out Nancy's course, there is actually a link in the YouTube description, and I'll also post a link in a second to the YouTube chat. Let me bring the presentation up the screen.
Okay.
With that, I did want to grab a few of these questions. Folks, while we have this time, if there's any additional questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll try to get to them. One that happened earlier in the presentation I wanted to bring up was regarding conversion rate. The question is, how does conversion rate work? How is it calculated? How is it applied to your sold product? Can you talk a bit about that? And that applies beyond just Etsy. This is any kind of product.
Yeah, of course. So the conversion rate is based on how many people view your product and how many people actually purchase your product. So the more people that view your product and less people purchase, your conversion rate is going to be lower. The more people view your product and the more people purchase, your conversion rate is going to be a lot higher. And this is why it's so important that when you're selling, especially on Etsy, because they use their internal ranking system to place that listing in a specific page, you want to make sure that you're using the right tags. You want to make sure that you're using the right categories, the right attributes, because you want your products to be shown to the right people. If you're using keywords that are very generic or very broad, but people are seeing it, but those people are not your target audience, it hurts your conversion rate because you're showing it to a lot of people, but they're not buying. And if people are not buying Etsy, right, they're going to say, well, this product is not a good product. And they're going to bury you in the search results. Or it could be the opposite. You use the right tags, the right category, the right attributes. People are clicking, people are buying. It's going to put you on the top of the search feed. And you might even become a bestseller. That's how they decide if a listing is going to be a bestseller or if a listing is going to be on page 5. But that's how pretty much conversion rates work, at least on Etsy and for any site as well. Especially if you're running ads, etc., you need to look at your conversion rates as well. But it's really important to fine tune your marketing strategy, your pictures. I mean, it's not just Etsy SEO, like I mentioned, it's your picture, it's your listing description and everything else that comes together to help you get more sales.
Well, it's kind of a follow-up question to that I wanted to grab is payment settings. I don't know if you could see the question, but I'll read it. Yeah. Does the payment settings influence visibility on Etsy? Can you speak a bit to that?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I haven't seen that on the Etsy handbook. So no, it shouldn't affect that because the visibility is based on your title, tags, attributes, and category. So no. Great question, though.
Thank you for that, Nancy. Now, you did talk about relisting. I want to bring this question up. Do you recommend relisting items before they expire so they stay fresh and jump to the top? Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, I'm going to give you 2 strategies. A lot of people, what they do is in the beginning when they first start an Etsy store, you're always uploading new listings. You're doing really, really well because when you upload a new listing or you relist the listing, when it gets renewed, you get a temporary boost. So a lot of people ride that temporary boost because they start adding a lot of listings. They're always getting sales. But the moment that they stop relisting or they stop adding new products, their store goes like this they tank. A better strategy, in my opinion, is, you want to relist, but don't use that as your main strategy of getting sales all the time. The better strategy is to optimize your listing, to target your target audience, to expand your digital footprint, to start an email list. That way you have more control of getting continuous sales and building a long-lasting business the right way versus just depending on that little boost. So it is great to get the boost, but don't rely on it all the time as a source of, I have to add listings because if I don't, then my shop won't get sales. It shouldn't be that way. It should be like an extra bonus, but don't use it as a source of relying all the time on your sales.
Got it. Before we hop to the next question, there's one link I wanted to also post because, today you touched upon SEO in general. And so one thing I wanted to share, I just dropped it in the chat, is beyond eRank, it's also helpful. There's a website, Ahrefs, which is like SEO overall. So if you're just getting into this world of SEO, these are tools that we use for products overall. Just another great one for those in the audience who are trying to understand, how do I get started with this? And it has great free resources in their blog. Another question I wanted to bring up is actually regarding your course. So, and this is, if someone wanted to just take the Etsy course, how much would that cost if not bundled? Is that something available? Can you just share a little bit about that? Because I know today we're offering the bonus bundle on Discover.
No, if you want to buy it will be the same price. So you might just well get the whole bundle. That way you get everything included. I don't sell them separately. So yeah, once you join, now you could take it, you could start whenever you like. It's lifetime access. I always tell people you get a lot for the course. But what I recommend is start the Etsy Mastery course because that will get you started with your store, how to set it up the proper way, how to do market research, etc. And then what I recommend is doing the Pinterest course. Out of all of the other courses, just start with Pinterest. Many people are overwhelmed with Pinterest, Instagram. They're spending more time on social media than they are creating their products. So what I recommend is starting with Pinterest. Pinterest is a search engine. Is so easy to get traction from there and drive traffic back to your email list as well to your Etsy store. So that's what I would recommend, is just starting with the regular course. And then once you're ready, start with Pinterest. Once you feel comfortable, confident, you have it set up on autopilot, maybe try a different platform and then take it from there.
Well, and a follow-up question to that is regarding the IG, right? The IG story. So that's one of the bonus bundles. Can you just talk a little bit about what's in that section? And I have a question that's it's like the cutting edge. Are you going to do anything with YouTube Shorts? Is that a thing? Because like I heard that's a new thing that's rolling out, and I'm curious, is that something you're going to mess with?
I'm going to mess with it for sure. I haven't tried it yet.
It only launched like last week, so I
know, like,
neither have we. And I was like, "Are you going to do it? Maybe we'll try." Let's share
I have
notes.
to try it. I have to try. I have to do a little bit more research because I really don't know a lot about it. But I need to try it because I'm always trying everything. Instagram stories, to kind of answer Ximena's question. Instagram stories is just a way to connect with your audience from the back end. And a lot of people don't use Instagram the right way, or they don't use Instagram story to the fullest advantage. So in the course, I have 365 prompts. So these are divided in visibility, lead generation, money maker, and conversation. So when you are selling online, you got to have people like you, know you, and trust you. You can't just treat Instagram as a billboard of selling your products. You have to connect with people. Pinterest is different. Understanding each platform and how they work is the key. So Pinterest, you could create a product, a pin of your product, pin it. And when people search for that, they click on it, they go to your store and probably purchase from you. Instagram works a little bit different. So you want to make sure that you connect with people. And that's the reason why I give you all of these prompts. You have one per day if you want to use one per day. And the first one is conversation. So just starting a conversation with your audience to warm them up. A lot of people say, I post on Instagram, but nobody likes my post. No one leaves a comment. No one's engaging. That's because they don't really know who you are. They probably see it, they gave it a like and kept going. But if you want to grow your Instagram presence so you could drive traffic back to your Etsy store, you need to make sure that you're having conversation with your audience. You're warming them up before you sell anything to them. Because no one wants to tell you, buy my course, but they don't even know who you are, or buy this printable, but they don't know who you are. But if they know you over time, they will buy from you. So the way is set up is basically a little sheet guide that has 4 different sections, and you just start with a conversation, and then you lead to the other ones, and it's a whole year's worth, and it's for Etsy sellers too. So everything I wrote in there is geared towards an Etsy shop.
Thank you for that, Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an interesting question I saw just pop up. So this person's planning on selling digital products for vintage images that they source in Europe. How do they know these images unique have a good market in contrast to kind of today's modern digital pieces? Do you have any feedback on this? Because I think, people are always looking for new things to sell in new markets, and judging market fit's obviously very hard.
Yeah, sometimes is two things you might have to do. One, sometimes you just have to go with your gut feeling and try something new, and your new thing might be the breaking ground. 2, do market research. So you could use eRank tool if you wanted to. They have an amazing feature called competition. It's when you go inside and you register, it says competition. You could see the top stores in any country from Europe to the US. And you could also go in there and search for vintage products. So you could be very specific to what you're looking for, and you could do market research using this tool to see if people are selling this on Etsy and if they're profitable. This will give you the top stores. In addition to that, it could be as simple as going on Etsy, typing in the vintage type of images that you sell, and seeing what comes up. If you're doing market research on Etsy, make sure that when you're looking at stores, that they are a year, maybe 2 years old. Don't look at a store that's successful from 10 years ago, because it could have been that when they first listed it, they were the only one selling it and they blew up. And now it kind of has died down, but they built their following, et cetera, their business up. So make sure it's a newer business that you're comparing, to make sure that it's a profitable niche to go into. There's a lot of tools that you could use to validate your products. Google Trends is another one that you could check to see if this is a seasonal product or evergreen product. But I think the 2 I would say is Etsy, because that's the source right there, or use eRank's tool that gives you the top to the top stores based on what you're looking for. It has vintage in there as well, and you can narrow it down from there as well.
That's great advice, Nancy. And I know your course covers, it touches on like Google AdWords and such. So like adding on to that, once you've got, if you have any justification that there might be some research, you can also run ads too and test out, are people clicking through, and spend very, very little to gain some really good research.
Exactly.
So we wish you luck. But we are coming up to time. For everyone who's with us today, can we let Nancy know in the comments we appreciated her doing this? This was a free workshop. I mean, I appreciate you coming out today. These are very important topics. Whether you're selling on Etsy or selling on any store, these are the foundations to sell online. So let's thank Nancy in the comments. Again, I appreciate you being here. Do you have any last words of wisdom for the folks who have joined us today or perhaps watch us on the replay?
Yeah, of course. I think one big thing that I want to always tell people is that you either win or you learn. So if you start a store on Etsy and it doesn't go the way that you want it to go, don't give up after 2 months or 3 months. Like, give it some time. Give it, I would say, like a year at least of hard work, of making sure that you're building a solid brand on Etsy, but then you're also expanding outside of Etsy. That's really important, because as more stores open, this year alone, they had over 100,000 new stores. It does get saturated, so you need to build a solid brand outside of Etsy as well. But if that doesn't work for you, you could take that information that you learn and just start with something else. There's so many possibilities on Etsy alone, whether it's physical or digital products, but you either win or learn, and then you could take that information, pivot, try something else until you find your niche or you find your one thing.
Nancy, again, thank you so much. That was wonderful. We're going to sign off in just a second. Again, thank you for everyone who joined us live today. Nancy, always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you for having me again, Aaron. Thank you guys for showing up, and thank you for all the lovely questions. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day today.
Bye, everyone. With that, signing off.